Hey, welcome to another episode of SmArt Tips, where I give you art tips for working smarter, not harder. Today, let's talk about value. Value is the quality of lightness or darkness of a color, an object, or what have you. And when you learn about value, you tend to see it on a value scale. For the most part, you tend to see a 5 value scale or a 10 value scale, but you can have an infinite number of scales in between, just with the slightest shifts. So it's basically all of the shifts between white and black. Now, this is not my quote, but value does all of the work and color gets all of the credit when it comes to art. In other words, a lot of people, especially beginners, tend to underestimate how much value can affect what your work is looking like. And a great way to tell if your values are working is to squint your eyes. So when we're looking at the squares in value, you can see that the two squares are very similar and it's hard to differentiate one from the other. And adding color didn't make much of a difference. Now, when we lighten the value of the inner squares, you can now see that they are clearly very different and separate from each other. So when you see them all together, you can clearly see that it wasn't the color that made the difference, it was the difference in values that made the separation of the two squares different. Now, that's not to say that you can't use values that are close to one another, like in this image here where they use mostly light values, or in this screen grab where it's mostly dark values, or if you want to use all the values on the spectrum. But you do have to be intentional about what it is that you're trying to draw the viewer's attention to. Do you want the audience to look at something specific in the image, or do you want them to see everything? In general, though, if you feel something's off, maybe check your values. This was super simplified, but I hope it helped you in some way. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye!